EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present opening round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Well, this is one of my favorite tournaments of the year. It's the EA Sports Spring Invitational, and just a stunning golf course. It's Wolf Creek in Mesquite, Nevada. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. And Frank, we're in for quite a day.
We are. We're going to see the decision-making processes of some of the fine players out there today. And the reason why I say that, Rich, is because there's so much elevation here at Wolf Creek, so you're going to have to make those adjustments on the downhill and the uphill. Club selection decisions. And, of course, the one that does that the best is more than likely the one that's going to come out on top.
Back over to number 7. Frank, nothing spectacular to this point in the first round. What does the player need to do just to kind of generate some momentum?
I actually think they're playing all right, Rich. It's just, you compared to the top of the leaderboard, you start to think, well, maybe they're struggling. But there's ebbs and flows in this game. At the moment, it's just sort of almost like a holding pattern. But it's time to change that.
This one doesn't look good.
There's water over there.
Good news is, was able to retrieve the golf ball.
Yeah, on dry land, and can he carry it this time, though?
Third shot now, after the last one found the deep blue.
You can still minimize the damage here. It's only one bad shot that you got punished for.
So, Frank, he'll take a drop here.
Yeah, he'll take his medicine, take his penalty shot. The hole's not over yet. Remember, out of the rough. Expect the ball to jump forward a little bit.
That's a disappointment right there, Frank.
Yeah, green light special, really. Come up considerably short.
What was he thinking there?
I have no earthly idea.
This one is way off.
Oh, different zip code.
Well, once you hit double to par, it's time to just pick up and move on. Frank, the par 3/8 really is Wolf Creek in a nutshell. It's hard and it's really pretty.
It is, and it's really long too. Just under 250 yards off that back tee. Slight bit of elevation, but you can see from the tee, obviously, where you don't want to go and where you do go. If you're a little, tender of heart, then aim for the right side and avoid all that water down the left.
Look, everybody wants to post a good low number, but a good score at Wolf Creek is really relative because this is a true desert canyon golf course. It is rated as the third hardest golf course in America by the United States Golf Association.
Yeah, that's the slope rating that you're referring to. It has a slope rating of 154, which sort of measures in all the undulations. So, needless to say, you don't get too many flat putts, or actually, relatively flat shots either here at Wolf Creek. But the thing about it, the golf course isn't overly long, and it sort of fits in with the terrain. How could you come to the desert with all these changes in elevation and expect to play flat golf?
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
That's as bad as I have seen. Folks, that one is now on the fringe.
It's at sneaky distance.
Oh, man, you can't miss him from that distance. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Ouch, that hurts. Double bogey. Finishing up this front side here at the par 4 ninth, 390 yards, and what are we looking at, Frank?
Well, it looks relatively straightforward, but it's anything other than that. Decision time again. Do you lay it up into that wide area of the fairway? If you're a longer hitter and you are out here to have a little bit of fun, then maybe you want to take the head cover off because you get a little bit of an advantage if you can drive it over that last bunker on that right side, or at least take that out of play because you're only going to have a short pitch in here.
Frank, did you hear the sound of that coming off the club face?
It was like a cannon.
Well, that sets up well for a chance at the green here at the ninth. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie. That was not a very good read right there. Shouldn't be a problem here. Well, that was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
Sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
Just a tap in to finish the hole.
Rich, you got to tell me what happened. I covered my eyes on that one.
Another bogey. What else? Frank, the nice thing about golf is that if you struggle on that front side, you can take a breath and you can regroup and you can get something going on the back nine.
During a round of golf, there's so many little things you can do, especially when you're a little awry. Check the ball position. Maybe you're starting to focus too much on swing rather than actually the shots in hand. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Offline, and I think that one's headed for the rough. In the thick stuff.
Thick? It's brutal out there.
Frank, this ball's in the rough. Anything you change in your technique when a ball's sitting down a little bit?
Yeah, you put the ball back a little bit further in your stance because you're going to get a bit of grass between the ball and the club face. So you have to allow for that. And keep that club moving. That grass is going to be, that grass is going to create a certain amount of resistance. Great shot out of the rough. He avoided all the troubles just to get that on the green.
That was not an easy shot. He'll settle. Settles in over the putt. Missed putt and a drop shot here at the 10th. Just a couple of feet. Everything is going wrong today. Just continues to be ugly. We're here at the downhill par 3 11th hole. Frank, it's 215 yards from the back tee.
This hole certainly is not for the faint of heart. When you look at that tee shot, you think, oh my God, what do I do from here? But remind yourself, it's 215 yards and really only about 160, 170 yards to green grass again. But it's 215 yards. That should be the club that you're trying to pick. Green's big enough. Just persuade yourself that. Try not to look at the canyon and the desert. There is a green down there. The hole is playable. Well, that was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Second shot coming out of the rough here. That is an excellent play right there. The approach, getting him another good look. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
As this now for bogey. Not too bad, he gives one back. Second round coverage coming your way tomorrow. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. So long for now. EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present second round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Now, the start of the back nine here at Wolf Creek Golf Club in Mesquite, Nevada, or as I like to call it, Mind Blower Golf Club. Frank, everywhere you look, it's just a mind blower. I mean, this one is hard to believe.
Well, this one is also a hard hole. 472 yards off the back tee. The fairway is a little wider than what it looks off the tee because that sort of desert ridge on the right side there, that blocks part of the fairway. So if you can imagine that fairway opens up a bit, then you'll be fine. A good tee shot down here, especially with that elevation there. That should shorten the hole up a little bit. 270 yards gets you past all those bunkers on the left side. They'll take those out of play. And once again, a little bit uphill, and you can see the green, it shapes a little bit to the right. So make sure you're aware of where that flag is.
Frank, you're in the business of analyzing golf shots.
I don't want to see that one again.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
Putting all of his talents on display here from the rough, and he knocks it really close. Beautiful shot. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Different day, different hole. Made bogey yesterday. He'll do better this time, it looks like. Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
Clean this up with a tap. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
On to the 11th hole, we're looking downhill, 215 yards to the green.
And this is one of the holes that you realize you're at Wolf Creek. You would never see this hole anywhere else in the world. It's amazing when you stand on this tee. You see all of the canyons around, but there is a little green area down there surrounded by a couple of bunkers. It's a great-looking par 3. It measures 215 yards. Very playable, and you never know. Today might be the day where you make birdie.
Into the thick stuff. That's a difficult lie. Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. So he didn't hit the green in regulation, but he still has a reasonably good chance to save his par, about 10 feet away, and getting ready for the putt. Wow, that's disappointing. Chance to get too deep on one hole, and you leave it short.
Well, the good thing is he didn't miss it, right? It didn't go past and miss. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Okay. Still has a chance for birdie, too.
Right, okay. I like that positive attitude.
Now to the par 5, 12th. Pretty big hole with a really big green.
And a really good blue area to the left, called water there. That's to be avoided off this tee, that's for sure. A good drive that avoids all of that. Then the hole is certainly reachable, but as you can see, water creeps in again, back right on this hole. So just don't get too cavalier here. A 5 wouldn't be the worst score. I know you want better, but believe me, seen many a 6s and 7s racked up here at 12.
No fairway here, this one in that rough. This requires a lot of speed through the ball. So from the rough back to the fairway, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, didn't take the bait, and at least now he's only going to play the price of a poor tee shot. Still got a good chance, though, getting away with par.
Oh, get down. Look out.
It's over. The green.
Frank, not where he wants to be, but not out of the hole here at the par 5.
No, but Rich, to drop a shot here would really set him backwards.
Frank, it's not about getting the ball close to the hole from that spot.
Well, he had no chance to get it close. I thought he had very, very, very little chance of getting it on the green. So given that, that was a very good shot.
Well, that's disappointing. He misses the par putt, and he'll have this for bogey. Bogey here yesterday, chance to better that today. Frank, it has been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey. Thirteenth hole, and Frank, Wolf Creek is really kind of a macho golf course because you can stand on a tee like this and say, you know what? I'm going to take this one over the mountains.
And then, if you do, then you flip the coin. Is it in play or is it out of play? This is one hole. You just you realize you're in the middle of the desert, that's for sure. And one hole that you think, if I play this hole a couple of times, I might just get the hang of it.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag. Should be safely on deck.
Stuffed it in there really close, and now just a tap in. Shouldn't be a problem here.
A little bit more hope than determination in that putt. Oh, painful lip out. This is a good putt.
Absolutely can't believe it. I thought that thing was stone dead in the center. So just a formality here. In for a bogey. Fourteenth hole here at Wolf Creek. Time to pull out the driver and as well the phone because you want to take some pictures here. What a spectacular view.
Stunning. You can see a whole panoramic sort of 360 degrees right around this golf course. Then when you flick back and actually look at the 14th hole, there's 6 bunkers, 3 really in play with the tee shot, as you can see, the other 3 just up by the green. Anything to the right of those is preferred, unless you want to be playing your second shot out of the canyon or the bunkers. Green should be fairly receptive, and 3 distinct portions, which is sort of a common trait here at Wolf Creek. That's sort of 3 different tier levels in that. But let's see, birdies are to be made at Wolf Creek, maybe even one here. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. He'll need to be strong with this. Leaves that one about 20 feet out from the cup. Nicely played shot. This for par. Dropping a shot here late in the round, Frank, with that bogey at the 14th. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Always love to hear the sound of the bottom of the cup. So 2 rounds in the books. Frank, that was fun.
It certainly was. It bodes well for the weekend. Saw a lot of good players that seem to actually have a good fit for this golf course. That bodes well for the next 36 holes.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Boston Championship. Hello again and welcome. I'm Rich Lauder alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobilo. It is a gorgeous fall day here in Massachusetts, TPC Boston, site of the Deutsche Bank Championship, part of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Frank, a really good golf course and highly respected by the best players in the world.
It certainly is. Gives them an opportunity to score. Gil Hanse, Brad Faxon, they made some really good changes over the years, giving it that New England look, that old bunker style. And, of course, they've had a PGA Tour event here all the way back to 2003. Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. In the thick stuff.
Thick? It's brutal out there.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Look out left.
And there's rough over there.
And that one lands in the first cut, Frank.
Interesting choice coming ahead here. It'll be interesting to see how he reads this lie.
Frank, here we go again. Another shot from the rough.
Yeah, let's see if he learned his lesson.
That's a disappointment right there, Frank.
Yeah, green light special, really. Come up considerably short. Rich, with a lie like that on the rough, you're going to get too much grass between club face and ball. You're going to have to adjust for that and at least take a club or two more. That just came out blazing. As soon as it hit the green, it was never going to stop.
Good thing he stayed in the first cut, because just a couple of feet over, that rough is really deep. Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Oh, that hurts. Thought he had it. A disastrous triple bogey attempt here. So, with that, 3 over par now for the round. Checking in on the action now, let's go down to the 6th. Frank, you know this. You can't win a tournament in the first round, but you can lose it. As we catch up with our featured golfer, they need to turn this around just to make the cut.
And turn it around now.
Wow, way to the right here.
And there's rough over there.
How tough is this going to be now from the rough, Frank?
Oh, it's tough to say, Rich. I mean, so much is going to depend on that lie. I'm going to need a little bit of luck.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
And the ball settles on the green about 26 feet away.
Yeah, not the easiest of putts coming up.
And the computer dials this one up at 26 feet. That would have been a real bonus had it dropped, but as it is, good putt. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Wow, I thought he made that. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Couple shots over par. Seventh hole, Frank, is a muscular par 5, 600 yards. What's the way to play it?
Just tee it up and hit it as hard as you can. Get this one on the fairway here, then you've got no problem carrying that huge cross bunker with your second shot.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough. What does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing. Good recovery shot. Couldn't make the green, but at least he's back in play.
Played the smart shot right there. Frank, here at the 7th, there's a choice to be made.
Yeah, you can see the distinct reward for a good iron shot. If you get that ball on that right tier, then it's certainly a relatively flat birdie chance up ahead. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. Frank made this hole just a little bit harder hitting it into the rough.
I would say a lot harder.
Frank, what's the best way to get at the golf ball when it's sitting down just a bit in the rough?
You have to accept the fact first and foremost that you're not going to get clean contacts. You have to decide whether the ball's going to come out short or it's going to fly. Because very rarely will it come out the normal distance of what you hit on the fairway. So if it's a little thin and wispy, chances are it might fly. If it's nestled down, you're going to have to take at least another club.
And he's made it onto the green now. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. 6 over par on the round right now. Onto the 8th hole, Frank. Nice par 3.
Yeah, this is where the accurate iron player will definitely get an advantage over the field. Well, Mr. Ball does not meet Mr. Fairway. It's off, rough.
Good chance to attack the flag here from 110 yards. Frank, you play the game at the highest level. You know it doesn't always go your way. So what kind of advice do you give the player who's having a rough go of it?
I used to have a little notepad that I remembered, and on it was stop, take a deep breath, make a decision, and now go with it. Just re-rack.
So from the rough back to the fairway, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, didn't take the bait. And at least now he's only going to play the price of a poor tee shot. Still got a good chance, though, getting away with par.
Ready for his 3rd shot. Needs to hit this close. Really good distance control there, playing well to his strengths. Right about 9 feet here to the hole. I thought that was in.
Yeah, it looked good. I mean, line, pace. It's hard to be critical of that.
Well, you almost lose count at this point. Safe to say, not under par. In fact, well over par. Frank, I don't know about you, but I love a good hot dog and a soda at the turn. Of course, it tastes a lot better after you've made par. How difficult is that proposition here at the 9th?
Well, if you stray with your tee shot here, you'll be making hamburgers, that's for sure.
Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. That was a pretty nasty lie out of the rough. He did the right thing there, Frank. Frank, here at the ninth, what are most players trying to do?
Well, you really have to be aware of that bunker. That's about 25 yards short of the green. If you finish up there, that's one of the hardest shots in golf, the long bunker shot. So you've got to carry that, even if you want to run the ball onto this green.
Miss hit, wrong club. What happened there, Frank?
All of the above, maybe. That's a little bit of a head scratcher. It wasn't that hard a shot.
And setting up here in the rough. Frank, not close, but from that line, not bad.
Oh, that's excellent. Seriously, given the conditions, Rich.
Settles in over the putt. That's about as depressing a moment as there is in golf. When you miss the bogey putt, you know you're staring at double. These putts keep the round together. Right off the edge.
Just a fraction softer, then it might have just turned in.
Clean this up with a tap. That hole certainly got the best of it. Triple bogey. Well, that'll do it for today. Not a great performance, not on the first page of that leaderboard.
Yeah, the people on the top of this leaderboard are there for a reason. They hit more fairways, more greens. It sounds easy, and I know this is a difficult course, but that's the way it's going to have to be played.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the Boston Championship. Hello again and welcome. I'm Rich Lerner alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobila. We're at the TPC Boston here in Massachusetts. And Frank, what kind of a golf course are we facing today?
Big golf course, very much a sort of an inland link style. Gil Hands and Brad Faxon. They've tweaked it over the last few years. It's been a staple on the FedEx Cup playoffs since 2007. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. That's a bit offline in the rough. And this attempt will be from about 130 yards. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Well, the stats say that is a green hit in regulation, but it's not yet a par on the card. Very tough putt coming up. Needs a pair of binoculars to see the hole. Oh, you can see the frustration. Almost kicked his putter head right there with a drop shot here at the 4th. Just needs to keep it steady. Boy, that was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
Sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
Just a tap in to finish the hole. Frank, you know full well, this can be a humbling game.
And an embarrassing game.
Frank, the fifth hole, beefy at 466 yards. What's the best way to attack here?
Well, it's a gentle dogleg left, Rich. That first bunker really doesn't come into play on the right side. The one on the left is the one you've got to be cognizant of. Get something a little right of that, you'll have second shot.
Frank, not the longest hitter, but sometimes you win tournaments by putting it in a good spot, and that's where we are right here, 280 yards out.
Yeah, 280 down the middle of the fairway. That'll never get you in trouble.
Oh, a bit unfortunate. Wasn't able to avoid the sand trap. In the greenside bunker, Frank, little bit of a problem.
That was terrible.
How good was that, Frank, from the rough?
Oh, that's amazing. That's a masterclass in short game.
This from about 10 feet.
That looked like it nearly got below the lip, the level of the lip there.
Can't believe that one, Frank. That was a complete horseshoe right there. Sitting right now at 2 over par for the round. Just a sloppy hole, no other way to say it, and it results in a double bogey. Ready now at the sixth, it is a tricky 465-yard par 4.
Yeah, hit it through the chute. Water comes into play a little bit down the left if you're a long hitter.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag. Hazard?
Maybe wet. Frank made this hole just a little bit harder hitting it into the rough.
I would say a lot harder.
Just trying to make clean contact from the rough. Beautiful shot. That is tight.
Unbelievable. That is one to savor for the rest of the round.
Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. Seventh hole, Frank, is a muscular par 5, 600 yards. What's the way to play it?
Just tee it up and hit it as hard as you can. Get this one on the fairway here, then you've got no problem carrying that huge cross bunker with your second shot.
About this, Frank, you don't see this too often. He's setting up to take a shot from the cart path.
Different sort of drive.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Settles in, looking to knock it in tight.
Rich, these winds haven't subsided at all today. It's certainly a tough test out there right now for these players.
They get your attention, don't they, as a player?
They have club selection right now vital.
You put the ball back in your stance just a little bit.
If you're going to hit it down.
Solid play, heart of the green. Tough game, Frank. You can hit 300-yard drives and miss 3-foot putts.
Yeah, there's the ecstasy, and that's the agony.
Just a couple of feet. Frank, this has been an absolute mess today and all week long.
You said it best.
Onto the 8th hole, Frank. Nice par 3.
Yeah, this is where the accurate iron player will definitely get an advantage over the field.
Stuck the follow through right there. This could be really good. He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Bogey here yesterday. Chance to better that today. That's a head scratcher. No other way to put it. That close to the green and misses it badly to the right. Something about this hole, it has not been kind. Bogey yesterday and staring at another one today. Whew, this is tough to watch.
I've already got my eyes covered. A very quick exit, miscut. Not the only one there, but surprising.
The weekend now to regroup. Just didn't hit many good shots. EA Sports is proud to present today's PGA Tour coverage. And we welcome you to one of the most popular golf courses on the PGA Tour. It is Quail Hollow. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Frank, it is just starting to heat up out on the golf course. Fans are streaming in, anticipating a highly contested event with the best golfers in the world.
One reason the fans love this course so much, Rich, the green mile. It's fine to have a good golf course, but it's got to have a great finish. It's got a great finish, then it becomes a great golf course. Quail Hollow has that great finish of 16, 17, and 18.
13th hole is where the action is right now. Let's take you there. As we check in on this early round action, we join our featured golfer, already playing well to this point. Couple of low numbers on the scorecard.
Yeah, it looks very good. Good swings out there and some good putting as well. Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Into the thick stuff. That's a difficult lie. Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. That is a painful miss right there. And a bogey, drop shot here at the 13th. Well, with that drop shot, moves to 1 over for the tournament. Wow, Frank, this is a really good little par 4, isn't it, the 14th?
It is, and this is where one of those strong three-woods comes in. The last 50 or 60 yards as the ball kicks down and towards the left, and it sounds like an aggressive play, but like a hard three-wood trying to run it down there is actually not a bad play.
Is it drivable?
It is drivable, but it's whether it's worth the risk.
Frank, this one's going too far left, it looks like.
Yeah, it was fine there for a little while, but if it keeps going left, it's doomed.
That one is just a little offline, and that will not end up in the fairway. He'll need to be strong with this.
Oh, solid strike. Right in the heart of the green.
Frank, it's not about getting the ball close to the hole from that spot.
Well, he had no chance to get it close. I thought he had very, very, very little chance of getting it on the green. So, given that, that was a very good shot.
It happens sometimes, Frank. They don't all drop.
No, but you try telling him right now.
Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. We're now teed up at the 15th hole. It is the final par 5 here at Quail Hollow, 577 yards. And Frank, I remember this hole well. McIlroy stiffed a 5-iron on his way to making eagle, his first PGA Tour win. That came back in 2010.
And the opportunity exists again here. Under 600 yards, plays downhill off the tee. Those two bunkers on the right are perfectly situated. That second one about 310 yards to it. So something straight at that one with a little draw will set up that mid-iron or long iron that has to be hit very high and uphill.
one ends up in the rough.
Oh, that went sideways.
Frank, you always talk about it. Don't compound the mistakes. Well, here we are, another shot from the rough.
And this one no easier than the one he's just hit.
On the green, and looking at a birdie opportunity. And getting ready for the putt. Did a nice job with that putt. Good read, good speed. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Okay, has it and stays at 1 over par. At last, we have arrived at the start of one of the most daunting finishing stretches in all of golf. They call it the Green Mile, 16, 17, and 18 here at Quail Hollow. The 16th is a par 4, 508 yards, Frank.
And this hole was made even more difficult when they pushed that green further left to bring the water more in play with the second shot. I mean, it's a great par 4. It's strong in every single department.
Now playing the second here at the par 4.
Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like.
Well, Mr. Ball does not meet Mr. Fairway. It's off, rough.
This requires a lot of speed through the ball.
Rich, that was some shot out of the rough. I really didn't think he could even get that on the green.
Well, just to get it on the green, as you say, I think is a big win. 19 feet away. That just brings a smile to your face, puts a little pep in the step when you make them from downtown. Frank, the 17th here at Quail Hollow. It is all you want.
And a bit more, actually. The only advantage the player has, it plays a little bit downhill. But when you look at the lake in front of you, if there's any swirling breeze out there, it just becomes a nightmare trying to choose the right club. Well, it was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
Okay, good shot on the dance floor. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
Trying to limit the damage here. This putt is for bogey. That's a bogey putt, dropping down the leaderboard a bit, now at 2 over par. Here we are, the 18th hole at Quail Hollow. Simply put, Frank, a player needs to hit maybe his best tee shot of the day.
I would agree with you, Rich. If you were to measure this hole from trees on the left to trees on the right, it's actually a really wide fairway or expansive land. But that creek that just meanders its way through...
That ball is lost in the water. So hit the previous shot in the water, took a drop. This now the third shot. Frank, this is one you don't practice, but sometimes you have to do it. Time for the drop.
Yeah, it should be the easiest shot in golf. You've just paid for it.
Frank, this one is veering far to the left. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up.
Rich, you know, after you've already made one mistake in the rough, there's a chance he's going to make another.
Just trying to get it back out into the fairway and not make a big number. Good news is, was able to retrieve the golf ball.
Yeah, on dry land, and can he carry it this time, though?
Frank, this is his 6th shot here.
Well, this is the difference between the good players and the great players. Really, just that compounding of a mistake, one after the other.
Just trying to make clean contact from the rough. How good was that, Frank, from the rough?
Oh, that's amazing. That's a master class in short game.
Settles in over the putt. Oh, I thought he had that. That will be 4 over par on the scorecard for this hole. Time to pick up and move on. Well, not an especially good start to the tournament, Frank, through one round. They might be in jeopardy of missing the cut.
And they have to remember right now it's just one round, and they are, as you were saying, in the outside looking right in at the moment. But you never know. I've seen golf tournaments won from further back than this.
Coverage coming your way is presented by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. What really sets Quail Hollow apart here at the Wells Fargo Championship, the brutal finishing stretch. They call it the Green Mile, and we are excited to bring you all of the tournament action. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Novelo. Frank, I think the mark of a good golf course design, changing directions. We go from a right to left hole, now at the 12th, to a left to right hole.
Yeah, there's no two holes at Quail Hollow that look the same. And this one slightly downhill, the fairway tilts a little bit to the right, and it's a bit of a sleeper. And plus you add in on top of that 450 yards plus. This is a fairway that has to be hit.
You'll need to get all of this one, 200 yards, the second shot. Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. Frank, you always talk about it not compounding the error, but here again, another shot from the rough.
Yeah, if you try again.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Wow, I thought he made that. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Makeable putt right here, currently sitting at 1 under for the round. So another bogey on the scorecard. And Frank, what happened this week?
I think it's a week to forget, Rich.
Here we are at the par 3, 13th hole. It's 210 yards. What does it take here, Frank?
It's one actually where you'd rather be conservative than aggressive here. And the reason why is this green tends to roll off at the back and the front and the middle there. So it's just something that pitches more in the central part of the green is really what's required.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Frank, you hate to miss it from that distance.
More than a setback there.
Putt for par. He needs one. Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. Well, Frank, as we arrive at the par 4 14th, just 345 yards, our players no doubt are looking for a little advice from a guy who's been there. You've done it at the highest level. What's the right play here?
Rich, after all these years, I think it's like a modified tee shot. And what I'm going to say with that is like a strong 3-wood, something that pitches around 270 and kicks 30 or 40 yards, finishes up about 20 yards short of the green. I think that's the best ploy. You won't be able to get at all the flags, but I think you'll play the hole under par for the week.
When's the right time to pull out the big driver and have a go at this green?
I don't think there is, but maybe you at home should try.
Midway through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Didn't fare too well on this hole yesterday. Made a bogey. Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
That's a nice confidence builder right there. You make those for par, you keep things steady. Now as we arrive at the par 5 15th hole here at Quail Hollow, 577 yards. Frank, I think a player has to be thinking about doing what Rory McIlroy did in 2010.
It's the last of the holes that you can really be aggressive on, Rich. So a good drive down here. I'm well aware of the fact that there's water on the left. This is a good chance to make something happen before you play the green mile.
And that's what McIlroy did. Hit a tracer, then a 5-iron, knocked it in for eagle, shot 62, and won for the first time on the PGA Tour.
This is definitely not going down the fairway.
It doesn't look good. I think it's going to be in the deep rough. Frank made this hole just a little bit harder hitting it into the rough.
I would say a lot harder.
Frank, this ball's in the rough. You like to hinge just a little bit quicker on the takeaway when the ball is down like this?
No, when it's down, you've just got to make sure that you wind up almost like you're hitting a tee shot. This is not one to be dallied with. You've got to hit it powerfully, and you really have to focus on that club getting through the grass, past the ball, and out the other side.
Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. Terrific golf shot. And now, that for an easy birdie. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. Frank well off the pace, but the true professionals, they keep digging, trying to get better. So that is the end of the second round, and unfortunately, the end of the tournament for our featured player, missing the cut.
Well, they certainly didn't hit the magic number here for the tournament. Fell below the cut line, and they just couldn't make it back. There's always next week.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Players. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo, coming to you from one of the game's most famous venues, the TPC Sawgrass, home to the Players.
And home of the Players too. The PGA Tour professionals that play the tour, they basically run and own this wonderful venue. It is their championship, and it's one that each one of those players playing here this week would want to win. It might not be considered a major, but the Players, it is their championship.
We have already begun. Let's pick up with the action at hole number 4. Early in the round and playing reasonably well. Nothing great, but has certainly not given a whole lot away.
Yeah, and actually a good position to really springboard the round from here.
Not quite what he was hoping for. The tee shot in the bunker. Yeah, about 145 yards left here.
There's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
You see that kind of work from the bunker, you think of the greats like Seve Ballesteros and Gary Player, the best bunker players of all time. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Came to the putt excited to make birdie, now settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. When you've let one go, you've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop.
Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Fifth hole, good par 4, isn't it, Frank?
If ever a hole was built for Lee Trevino, who used to love to cut it, this would be the hole. It just looks and screams for a shot that's hit left to right. And that's the only way really to avoid bunkers left and long, and that one that's all the way down the right side. Oh, this is heading in the wrong direction.
Uh-oh. Frank, we've all been there. You hit one in the water, you're down. How do you regroup?
You've got to start from scratch again. Everybody's going to hit bad shots. That's just the nature of the game. But compounding mistakes, that's the problem that you want to avoid.
Now on to his third shot after the last one went into the water.
Good recovery shot. Couldn't make the green, but at least he's back in play.
Played the smart shot right there. That one is bunker bound, it looks like. Getting some sand in the shoes now. For a second straight hole, he's in the bunker. Been a tough hole so far. This is the 5th shot, and still in the bunker. Frank, obviously way too much club there.
You got to think something like that, or at least misread the wind. This is never going to sit down.
Wow, what a shot. Doesn't even need the putter. Now to the fifth. This long par 4 thought to be one of the most difficult holes on the front side here at the TPC Sawgrass.
Yeah, if you've got plenty of length in the bag, you can almost take it directly over the bunker on the right. But if you're not as long, you have to air down that left side.
Great strike and a great result. Sitting up, a good chance to attack the flag. Frank, now the second shot here at hole number 6.
Yeah, not overly long, but be very aware of these palm trees that are short. Many a shot's caught those trees coming into this green.
Tugged that one a little bit offline to the left, and he'll pay a bit of a price because that rough is fairly thick. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Frank, not close, but from that lie, not bad.
Oh, that's excellent. Seriously, given the conditions, Rich.
15 feet away. That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle.
So, with that, 3 over par now for the round. Frank, 7th hole here at TPC Sawgrass. How do you break this one down?
Not overly long, 440 yards, but once again, it's a tee shot. If you're driving the ball well, that's fine. You just sort of blister it down there, but you're starting to lose one a little bit to the right. There's 3 pot bunkers there. And of course, if you're fearful of it going left, there's the canal all the way down the left side that'll get your attention.
And from that position, a good chance to get at this hole location at number 7. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Frank, this one's not looking good.
Yeah, certainly not down the fairway line, heading toward the rough.
You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish, but, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break.
And he's made it onto the green now. And getting ready for the putt. That is a painful bogey at the 7th hole. This to avoid a huge number. This is for bogey. Blemish on the scorecard. A bogey. going to need the A game tomorrow. That was not the round they were looking for.
Well, the A game, as we know, doesn't come out every single day, but a positive attitude will certainly go a long way, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of time on the range.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the Players. There really is nothing like it in golf. The stadium course at TPC Sawgrass, home to the Players Championship. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. And what a golf course, Frank. And obviously the most famous hole is that little island, par 3, 17th. And it's the ultimate hold-your-breath moment. When that ball is airborne on a Sunday afternoon, you don't know. Wet or dry, victory or agonizing defeat.
It's certainly a great temptress, and it's fitting in this golf course that was created for two reasons by Pete Dye. It was created to be a cliffhanger of sorts and to test the great players of the world. And, of course, it was built with natural viewing in mind. So it's the perfect stadium venue for this championship.
Good tee shot right in the short grass. Frank, you want to get off to a good start. This approach shot here at the first is important.
It is. Two distinct levels on this this green, the high side on the left there and the lower side on the right. If you're trying to keep that ball a little left of a middle, you've got to be careful of that bunker on the left.
That is a green in regulation as the approach shot hits the first green, but he is by no means in for par yet. A lengthy putt coming up. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Pretty good stroke right there. Just hit it through the break.
Well, it's that sort of distance. If it goes in, it's a bonus.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. That's not how you picture it, Frank, when you step on that first tee.
No, you'd like to go back to that first tee right now and start again.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Frank, it's been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey.
Yeah, it's not exactly a small gap between that player there and the rest of the field. That gap's got to feel like the Grand Canyon right now.
Second hole here at Sawgrass, 532-yard par 5. Frank, considered one of the easier holes on the golf course, is that right?
Yeah, you don't have to hit it miles down there. Anything that turns a little to the player's left certainly helps. There are some trees down the left side. Just want to avoid those.
That's a good shot, right where you want to be, in the fairway here at number 2. Now from a good position in the fairway, his second shot. And it looks like it's in the rough there, Frank.
It might not be as bad as it looks.
Frank, in golf, as we know, there's short grass and there's long grass. We all want to be in that short grass, but it doesn't always work out that way. So what's the most important element from the shot, from the rough?
You have to be a little bit more conservative first and foremost, because you can't guarantee a perfect strike out of the long grass. So therefore you have to look around the greens, maybe short, to the right, to the left, and realize what's involved. And also just give yourself a slightly bigger target.
Bit surprising, misses the green in regulation here at the par 5.
Yeah, you'd think this is one of the easier holes on the golf course. So now just trying to avoid 6.
Pretty good shot right there. Shouldn't be a problem here.
Oh, that even caught me by surprise, Rich. I thought par was in the bag.
This now for bogey. Just 5 feet left. Don't leave it short. Wow. So just a formality here. Frank, you know full well this can be a humbling game.
And an embarrassing game.
Now the par 3 third.
Not overly long, but 2 is a rarity here. Difficult green, and you don't see a lot of tee shots actually finish close here for some unknown reason.
This has not been a great round as we head toward the finishing stretch here. You can tell the winds have really affected the shots out on the course. Let's see if they can muster something coming to the finish line. That is tasty looking right there from just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there.
Ready for his second shot, trying to knock it on the green. Too bad, Frank. That one rolled right off the green.
It was just coming out so hot.
Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. So not his best work. He'll walk away with a bogey. Frank, how would you describe the bunker all along the right here at number 4?
Well, it looks like it never stops. It covers really the entire length of that tee shot down the right side.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. Frank, the second here at the 4th is a dangerous shot.
Once again, this is another example of where you have to look at the green. Where exactly is the flag? If it's on that high portion, you've got to fly it all the way back.
Frank, this is good golfing weather. Nice strong breeze. Frank, this one looks like it might have a postage stamp on it. Airmail City.
Yeah, lick it. Send it.
Well, he's overshot the green here.
Fire the caddy, Rich. Seriously. Any other club other than that one.
Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. That shot right there from that lie in the rough to knock it that close, that's good. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Well, not in contention, but in for par. Fifth hole here at TPC Sawgrass, long par 4. What's the challenge, Frank?
Depending, really, if you're long or short hitter. The long hitters have the luxury of taking it over the corner of the bunker down the right. Shorter hitters really play at that bunker down the left, 320 run out.
Well, that was a beautiful drive, Frank. Really good position to take advantage.
Sitting up beautifully in the fairway.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special. There's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
That was not a very good read right there. I thought that was in.
Yeah, it looked good. I mean, line, pace, it's hard to be critical of that.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Bit unfortunate, loses a shot here with that bogey. Another shortish par 4, the 393-yard par 4 sixth. Frank, what's the challenge here?
Well, there's 2 bunkers down the left, but that's not really the problem. If you hug that left side, there's palm trees that come into play on that second shot.
Good news is, Frank, you can see the golf ball. I guess the bad news is that's kind of an uncertain lie in that mulch.
Yeah, there's nothing really good about that. You'd rather it be in the rough.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot, maybe get away here with par. Well, it's a little absurd, that, Rich. The shot wasn't that hard, but it's come up well short.
Didn't appear committed through impact. Okay, good shot on the dance floor. He's made it. Frank, what do you think of the sixth? Pretty short par 4.
It is, but you come out of that sort of corridor and fairway opens up and then it narrows up, bunkers to be around. Very, very few people hit driver here.